Victoria will push for restrictions on gas exports when the nation's energy ministers meet this afternoon. Let's go live to my colleague Andrea Crothers. Andrea, the new federal minister has already moved to try and temper expectations though.
Yeah, Kieran, Chris Bowen, he's been very clear today in saying don't expect there'll be any immediate result after those crisis talks. So the Energy Minister, regulators, they'll be meeting at 4 o'clock this afternoon as they look to try and tackle the power crisis. But Chris Bowen has said, look, things won't come out too quickly.
We'll be making progress. I mean, there's no easy fixes here. We've been very clear about that. And one meeting isn't going to solve all the problems of 9 years of lack of energy policy. But we have some meaty issues to discuss, some issues around powers of regulators, some issues around information, and some issues that I'll be putting forward about better planning and better integration of the massive investment we need to avoid this problem into the future.
So the current situation we are facing is a culmination of the war in Ukraine, sending up demand for world gas and particularly demand for Australian gas in that manner, but also the cold weather as well as unplanned outages at coal-fired power stations. Now, Australia is one of the world's largest producers of gas, but most of it is exported. So Victoria has said today, as it heads into those crisis talks, it'll be pushing for a limit on those gas exports. Now, that would point to the so-called gas trigger, the Australian domestic gas security mechanism. This is something which the federal government hasn't ruled out, but has been at pains to point out that it would take until January to take effect.
It makes no sense to families across our state and businesses that we should be making them compete with the rest of the world for something that comes out of our ground. What we need should be ours first, and the bit we don't need, go and sell that for whatever price you can get. You know, good luck to you.
So Daniel Andrews there calling for the gas trigger, but the Australian Workers Union, they want the federal government to go a step further, again calling for a domestic gas reserve. So this is something which you can see in WA, where you actually limit the amount of gas that is allowed to go out of the country, saying that 15% in that case must be saved for local use. So particularly with that, you've then also got the Nationals who are pushing again for nuclear power to be in the mix instead, something which is banned in the country. We've even seen a bit of tit for tat today between David Littleproud and the Energy Minister over this. David Littleproud tweeting, "We can make it safe, affordable and reliable in Australia. We need to have this conversation, and if opportunities exist, back ourselves." Well, the Energy Minister hitting back saying, after 9 years of energy policy chaos and rejection of the cheapest form of energy, renewables, the National Party thinks the answer to high prices is the most expensive form of energy, nuclear. It appears they didn't get the memo from the electorate on May 21. Now, that nuclear push has also been hit back by others.
I've been a big supporter and a big advocate for a long period of time. But as time evolves and the technology evolves, I think it is harder to see a solution where nuclear plays a more active role.
The reason that I'm not keen on nuclear energy for Australia is because the economics don't stack up. Some of these cleaner and cheaper opportunities the economics have become so compelling.
And Andrea, those hoping for possible further cash handouts to deal with the cost of living drama and pressure right now, they'll be disappointed.
Yeah, that's right, Kieran. The Prime Minister today was acknowledging that Australian families would be today struggling, slapped with the biggest interest rate hike in 22 years, on top of a rising cost of food, fuel and power prices. Now, the government has promised that when it does go to its October budget, it will approach it through a cost of living lens, but so far hasn't promised anything more than what has already been election promises in the form of cheaper childcare as well as medicines. So therefore dashing any hopes of further handouts before then.
We have serious fiscal constraints. I just want people to recognise that. We are not working up, as we speak, a package of household support.
We also have a date for that budget. The Treasurer is saying it would likely be on or around October 24. Kieran.
Andrea, thank you very much for that.